Assalamualaikum, my name is Nafazira binti Mat Salam. So today I would like to talk about Philippines. The Philippines, or we know as Republic of the Philippines, is a sovereign unitary island nation in South Asia, located in Pacific Ocean. Philippines have about 7 seas for one island. The Philippine capital is Manila, while the most populous city is Quezon City, both of which belong to the Metro Manila province. Surrounded by South China Sea, Philippine Sea is close to the Sulawesi Sea. The Philippines also share maritime border with Taiwan, Vietnam, Palau, Malaysia and Indonesia. Philippines has democratic republic constitution government with a presidential system. It is governmented as union state except for the Islamic Autonomous Region in Mindanao, or we can call as ARMM, which is completely independent of the central government body. There have been attempts to change the form of government to federal, electical or parliamentary government since Romo's rule. The president holds the role of head of state and head of government at the same time. Moreover, the Supreme Commander of the Philippine Armed Force. The president is elected by election for 6 years. During the term, he appoints and led a cabinet. The bipartisan Philippine Congress consisted of the Senate as the upper house, where its members are selected for 6-year term, and the House of Representatives as the lower house, with each member are elected for 3 years only. The Philippine economy was once state under the dictatorial rule of President Ferdinand Marcos, which led to economic management and political uncertainty. So the country was experienced sluggish economic growth and many times hit by tumors. It was until 1990, with the economic liberalization program, the economy began to recover. The country was severely affected by the 1997 Asia finance crisis, which saw the Philippine economy was under the discretion rule of President Ferdinand Marcos, which led to economic management and political uncertainty. So the country is experienced economic growth and many times hit by tumors. It was until 1990, with the economic liberalization program, that the economy began to recover. The country was severely affected by the 1997 Asia finance crisis, which saw the fall in the value of peso and stock market, but not as badly as some neighbor ASEAN countries. Despite of the country, the service sectors such as tourism and outsourcing of the business process have been identified as among the best sectors for growth nationwide.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Afina Fika binti Zaini from AM1103G, and I'm going to present about the public policy in Philippines. There are several institutional built-in systems of policy making in Philippines. The first one is National Economic Development Authority, NEDA. The National Economic and Development Authority traces its beginnings to the creation of its forerunner, the NEC, under Commonwealth Act No. 2 that was approved by the National Assembly on 23 December 1935. The NEC's principal mandate was to advise the national government on the formulation and adoption of the state economic program based on the policy of national independence. However, a period of inactivity followed when the NEC personnel were detailed to the Philippine Council for United States Aid, which was organized in 1950 as part of the Corona-Foster Agreement on the United States Assistance for the Philippine Development. The National Historical Commission on the Philippines affirms NEDA's founding date on December 23, 1935. The National Economic and Development Authority is the country's premier socio-economic planning body, highly regarded as the authority in microeconomics, forecasting, and policy analysis and research. It provides high-level advice to policymakers in Congress and the executive branch. Its key responsibilities include coordination of activities such as the formulation of policies, plans, and programs to efficiently set the broad parameters for national and subnational, area-wide, regional, and local development. Second, review, evaluation, and monitoring of infrastructure projects identified under Comprehensive and Integrated Infrastructure Program consistent with the government's thrust of increasing investment spending for the growing demand on quality infrastructure facilities. Lastly, undertaking of short-term policy reviews to provide critical analysis of development issues and policy alternatives to decision makers. Second is the National Security Council (NSA). The National Security Council (NSC) is the principal advisory body on the proper coordination and integration of plans and policies affecting national security. The NSC consists of two distinct bodies, which is the Council proper and the National Security Council Secretariat. The Council proper is a collegial body chaired by the President. It includes concerned officials of the Cabinet and Congress as members, as well as other government officials and private citizens who may be invited by the President. The Council was created during the Quirino administration through Executive Order EO number 330 dated 1st July 1950. It was reorganized by virtue of EO number 115 series of 1986. The NSC Secretariat is a permanent body that provides technical support to the Council proper. It is headed by the Director General or National Security Advisor. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thirdly, the universal healthcare in Philippines aiming to provide proper healthcare services for all. The Philippine Constitution in 1987 described that the state shall protect and promote the right to health of the people and instill health consciousness among them. The state shall adopt an integrated and comprehensive approach to health development which shall endeavor to make essential goods, health, and other social services available to all of the people at affordable cost. UHC also prioritized three strategic keys, including the financial risk protection through expansion of enrollment and benefit delivery of the NHIP. Secondly, to improve access to quality hospitals and healthcare facilities and services. Thirdly, last but not least, the attainment of the health-related MDGs, including for NCDs and their health-related risk factors. Next, last but not least, the Metro Manila Development Authority. The Metro Manila Development Authority, which called MMDA, used for a local level agency for council effecting basic services. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority is an agency of the Republic of the Philippines created embracing such as the city of the Manila, Quezon City, Caloocan, Pasay, and Makati. The MMDA also performs planning, monitoring, and coordinative functions, and in the process exercise regulatory and supervisory authority over delivery of the metro-wide services within Metro Manila. The governing board and the policy-making body of the MMDA is the Metro Manila Council, composed of the mayors of the cities and municipalities. It is responsible to approve metro-wide plans, programs, and projects, or other issue rules and regulations, and also the resolutions deemed necessary by the MMDA. Next, it also may increase the rate of the allowance of the members of the council to be more effective during the term of succeeding council. It fixes the compensation of the officers and personnel of the MMDA.
and approve the annual budget, therefore for the submission to the Department of Budget and Management, which calls DPM.
Hi, my name is Intan Igrina Sofia binti Riza Pahlawi. I'm going to present about problem and method in Filipino. The problem is inflation. Inflation is indicating a gradual rise in the level of prices, excess aggregate demand, it is AD, economic growth too fast, or cost push variables are the key causes of inflation. Supply side factors. Demand pull inflation is the origin of inflation. If the economy is at or near full employment, the rise in aggregate demand result in an increase in the level of prices. As companies reach maximum capacity, they respond by setting prices that contribute to inflation. Workers may also get a higher income that raise their purchasing power close to full employment with labor shortage if economic growth is above the long run trend rate of growth. We appear to get demand pull inflation. Method to overcome the inflation is by contractionary monetary. Is through a contractionary monetary policy, the aim of by reduce the bond prices and increase price and increase interest rate. The contractionary strategy is to reduce the supply of capital within an economy. This helps to reduce costs, and those that have money prefer to retain it and save it, as there is less money to go around instead of spending. It also means that there is less credit available, which can decrease spending. Actually, inflation need a decrease in spending because, of course, it tend to help economic growth and in fact the rate of inflation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Nushra Shafika binti Amdi, and today I will present about the second economic problem that worries the Philippines, which is unemployment. Based on new statistics on July 2020, the unemployment rate is lower than in April 2020. But the reality is, both numbers shows how chronic unemployment problems in the Philippines are. There are several methods to overcome each, which is the first one is by choosing appropriate labor-intensive technologies of production. Imported machinery and equipment import from technological dependence of third world nations is one of the factors that increase in unemployment. How? As the technology change, less labor force required in production. Employees more prefer using machine than labor force. The machine has taken over human work as it saves more time and energy. More product also can be produced with machine than human. Therefore, less dependence on technology can help improve employment by using machine for certain procedure, not to all. This method has linked with development of a small-scale labor-intensive rural and urban enterprise. The second method is by creating a more direct relationship between education and employment. Some alumni doesn't have a job. These days, more educated workers are needed in every industries. However, the company or the industry doesn't need to have a lot of professional labor, or they just require a small number of them. Also, some subject or courses in university doesn't have a lot of job opportunities. Therefore, action need to be taken by the government by create a more direct relationship with education and employment, so that students who study in this subject will get a job in this industry, which says that the clear distinction has been made between education and employment. The third is by making unemployment strategy package. Unemployment problems start to arise in the post-war growth in the Philippines. This is affected by the failed strategy that do not pay enough attention in mobilization of resources in traditional rural sector. However, it become more worse when the migration take over the job opportunities in the rural area that are not available in the province. Philippines has come up with a new strategy which is known as a two-pronged strategy package to eradicate unemployment problem by applying full mobilization of dominant rural sector and drive for labor-intensive industry diversification for more dynamic industrial sector. In order for the non-traditional export drive to succeed, the past bias toward labor consumption must be corrected. The last but not least, which is the fourth one, is by removing capital-intensive bias. Scarcity of capital and increasing excessive concentration in large-scale industry using capital-intensive technologies has led to failure of the urban industry supply more jobs. It is because capital-intensive industries possess high level of operating leverage. The production require high production volume to provide adequate investment returns. Also means that small changes in sales can lead to a large changes in profits and return on invested capital. The slow demand of labor caused by the policy which bias between capital-intensive industrialization and agriculture industries in rural areas. Agriculture industries, especially foods, has been neglected by the policy, while it gives more advantage for the capital-intensive industrialization. Therefore, the policies made by the government needed to give a balanced advantage for both industries that can also lead to employment. This has shown that all of this method must be taken seriously by the government of the Philippines as unemployment problems affects people's life. People who do not have a job will have no money, and it also can lead to a poverty, not to employment only. Thank you.
Finally, the conclusion is Philippine national is a country with a lot of problems, but the people in the country have never give up on developing their own country. We can see that Philippines is currently growing because of many foreigners or tourists are getting to know the country, and because of that their country name is getting better now. When the country is known by many people, then their national currently also and even permanent citizens who live here in Philippines can also change their own life, because the more tourists come to the Philippines, the more easier for the people there to find income for their own life and family. Many people know about Philippines because there are many beautiful islands, the unique traditional, there are various types of food that difficult to find in other countries and so on. Philippine national is a country that always forward thinking through the state with a difficult way of life. Low currency, but they still find and try a new thing for their own country in order to raise their own country. We can also see that the people and the leader are cooperating with each other, so that their country is well known and able to raise their standard of living. Thank you.